All right, Jack O'Connell says, how does God communicate to us outside of the Bible? Does he speak through mediums like words, numbers, and coincidences? Let me just say there's a difference between what God normally does and what God can do. Okay, so can God speak through a medium? He could. In fact, there's an example in Scripture of this, and it may make you feel uncomfortable, but just hear me out. Hear me out. I'm not endorsing mediums. That's evil, and we need to not do that. But can God use it? He can if he wants to. So King Saul, when Samuel had died, and he was the prophet who Saul had access to, and he no longer was hearing from God, he goes to a medium and asks to contact Samuel. And the medium has success. Now, the medium seems shocked and surprised, so I think that God was like using this to rebuke him. But did God use the medium to speak to Saul? Yes. And the message was, you're going to die, right? So this is like not a good thing. He never should have done it. It was all bad. It's not approved of. So God can use it. Can he use things like words or numbers? Like you keep hearing a word and you're like, maybe God's showing me something. Or you see a number multiple places and you think, I think God's showing me something. I think God can do that. Is it normal? I don't think so. It seems to me that we don't have any examples in Scripture that this kind of thing is normal. And even though God can use a medium to speak to Saul, guess what? Saul is rebuked and reprimanded for going to the medium. And the message is ultimately, it was his final act of rebellion. And now he's going to die. So that obviously doesn't endorse that. God's expressly against those sorts of things. One of the problems with leaning too heavily on coincidences and numbers is that we start thinking that figuring out what God is saying is a calculation. And you can see how this could be a problem. If God speaks to me, I need to know it was God. I don't want to think, maybe the Lord might be saying this. I saw the number 3, and then I saw the 3 again over here, and I saw 3, and I've just seen 3 everywhere. And then this third job offer, I'm going to say yes to, right? Like, do you know that? Or are you just guessing at God's will because of random cryptic numbers? We have the Spirit within us. And so I would think the typical way in which God would speak to you if you had an individual message is what we see in Scripture, standard, because I believe in the gifts, right? So someone offering you a prophetic word, someone coming to you and giving you a word of wisdom that you, in your spirit, you go, I really do believe this is from God. It's not just me calculating and figuring things out, right? It's a clear, this is from the Lord. And maybe you talk to some leaders in your life and they confirm, yeah, we believe that God is leading us. That's a lot more clarity and security than coincidences. Coincidences, sometimes what happens is, like I just got a new car, well, a used car. Okay. Just got a new used car. And I was looking at cars and you start to notice the same cars everywhere, all over the place. Now you could think that's just a coincidence that maybe God is using in your life, but the truth is I'm looking for them. That's why I'm seeing them everywhere. Normally I drive by cars. I don't notice them. I don't pay much attention. But I'm noticing these cars because they're the kind of cars I might get. Now, I shouldn't, fall into the mistake of thinking I'm reading God's will into super vague things. God can speak to you as clearly as he wants. So I wouldn't lean on those things. They would be the exception, not the rule. But I wouldn't rule them out entirely. So,